the 12 laws of healing and happiness. As long as I've been working with trauma survivors, it can be very mysterious when you're suffering from an anxiety related disorder, from depression, if you're having suicidal thoughts and ideation. It can be very mysterious how to climb out of the situation. And so we've talked about, I think we discussed 16 um, cognitive distortions that a person can have that are helping them to stay stuck. And so we've talked about how to overcome these different cognitive distortions by changing our beliefs, by changing our way of thinking, by changing our behaviors. However, it would be so nice if I could just hand you on like a piece of paper, like all of the rules of mental health. Like here, if you think all of these things, then you will think healthily. And that is essentially what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. There are 12 laws that I've organized out where if you think according to these laws, then you will be in mental health. Whenever we are experiencing anxiety or depression or CPTSD, any of the symptoms of CPTSD, the symptoms of borderline personality disorder, we are violating one of the 12 laws. I wrote all of the laws in absolutes and even use an extreme always or never at the beginning of each one so that you can memorize and learn them as absolutes and follow these laws, understanding that this has to be the way that you think about all things in all scenarios. To simplify it, to make it clear, so that you know exactly what you are doing right and what you are doing wrong or in violation of the laws. These laws are universal. So just because they've never been written before, and they haven't, and just because you might not have heard of them, which you probably haven't, doesn't mean they aren't being followed instinctually by those who are already experiencing good mental health and happiness. These laws are automatically being followed by those who are having good success in their mental and emotional well-being. And so what we've done is we've extracted them out of the universe and we've got them down on paper. And I'm going to share that illustration with those who are on my Zoom call right now. If you'd like to get into the Zoom call, you can go on my profile page, head to the website. Website will show you how to get into the Zoom call where it says join our meetings or join us live or something like that. So I'm going to share my screen with you. If you're on the Zoom call, you'll be able to see this list here. The 12 laws of healing and happiness. Okay, so I'm going to discuss these. And if you're listening on TikTok Live, don't despair. You can take notes of these 12 laws. Even if you're in our Zoom call, you can also write these down. I will make a PDF available as soon as midnight tonight on our website, mindfree.org. But I'm going to break down what these 12 laws are and give just a little information of each one. But on separate sessions, we'll actually dive into the details so that you can master these laws. And it is your goal to master the 12 laws of healing and happiness. To the extent that you can master these laws is the extent to which you will be healed, stay healed, and do well mentally. That is to be happy. So this is for our metaphysical health. Again, these laws are absolute. Law number 1 is always detach from what is toxic. Always detach from what is toxic. Almost all of us are here because of some contact with a toxic person. It was an abusive parent or parents, abusive caregivers, husband, wife was abusive. When you detach from the toxic person, your healing and your happiness immediately can begin. When you are detached or when you are attached to the toxic person, your healing and happiness are stunted. It doesn't allow you to heal properly because the toxic person is giving you poison, and the poison is eating away at your metaphysical self. So it becomes impossible to be healthy in the presence of a toxic person, such as a narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, a egopath, a abuser, a neglector. It is impossible to be healthy when you have contact with people like this. So you'll want to detach to the extent possible. And where you can't physically detach temporarily, then you will emotionally detach from them, energetically detach from anything or anyone that is toxic. For some of us, what is toxic can also be the entertainment. It can also be situations that become toxic or detrimental to us, such as smear campaigns or um, things that we fear, like an accident happening or something bad happening to us. When we're staying attached to this toxic situation or person, whatever it is that's toxic, it could be a book, it will stunt our healing and our happiness. So, rule number one is always detach from what is toxic. Rule number two, never think or act in fear. Always think and act in love. Rule number two, always never think or act in fear. Always think or act in love. For all trauma survivors, fear is the main motivation behind the majority of their symptoms. Fear is the precursor to anxiety. It causes us to do things that are maladaptive and that we later regret. We cannot live our life according to fear. It is essential that your life is driven by love, not fear. Along with love is purpose. All of our purpose is created in love. Love is doing positive, love is the energy that's cultivated by focusing on the positive attributes of said target and doing positive things towards said target. So love is doing positive or beneficial things towards something. That is also purpose. Your purpose is doing something positive and beneficial for yourself and others. Love and purpose are ultimately synonymous, but living in your purpose is love in action because you're wanting to teach, because you're wanting to help people, because you're wanting to provide a service or a product. You living according to purpose is love in action. You must live according to love. Everything you think and everything you do needs to be motivated by love and none of it motivated by fear. Now, what if we're in an emergency situation? Even in an emergency situation, ideally, the evasive maneuvers that we're taking would be actually motivated by love. In this case, probably a love for ourselves, a love for our well being and the well being of others. So make sure that, yes, never you think or act in fear, but you always think and act in love. Rule number three, never become consumed with other people's thoughts and feelings. Never become consumed with other people's thoughts and feelings. You've heard the saying, what you think is none of my business. Those who are suffering from psychiatric disorders, people pleasing, CPTSD, find themselves often becoming too concerned with what other people are thinking or what other people are feeling. It's okay for us to care what others feel and think, but it is not okay for us to be consumed by it, for us to be primarily motivated by it, for us to allow it to control us. The reality is this: you don't actually know what other people are thinking and feeling. That's the reality. You don't actually know. All we have is our guess. Even empathy itself is a projection. It's me projecting my heart onto you. because I know how I would feel in your position. I'm imagining how you may feel in your position. The empathy itself is even a projection. In reality, we don't know how another person truly feels. That's not our gift. So don't become overly consumed with the feelings and the thoughts of others. Hypervigilance is trauma response. Fortune telling is cognitive distortion. Rule number 4, always focus on and work toward the most beneficial possibility. Rule number 4, always focus on and work toward the most beneficial possibility. In all situations, if you find yourself focusing on the most beneficial possibility, you will be in less anxiety, less depression. The reason why many people are suffering from anxiousness is because they're focusing on the worst possible thing that could happen in every situation. They're catastrophizing. They're jumping to conclusions. Well, yeah, I would go out for that job, but they're probably not going to hire me. Someone who's focused on the best possible possibility, the most beneficial possibility is thinking positively. So they say, it is possible that if I go to this interview, I could get this job. And then they work toward that possibility. So they're dressing nice and they're practicing for their interview. They're putting the work in toward that possibility. That's where you must live, in the best possible, the most beneficial possibility at all times, never in the worst case scenario. Well, should we never consider, what could go wrong? It can be there. We can be aware without being controlled by the negative. We can be aware of what could go wrong without allowing that to become our focus. We need to make our focus the most beneficial possibility, and we need to work toward that. Obviously, there's so much more to each of these rules, and that's why I'm going to go into depth on these at another time. But tonight, I'm just giving you an interview, and if you're just joining us, these are the 12 laws of healing and happiness. I will make the PDF available at midnight. Law number 5, always focus on your gifts and your blessings. Always focus on your gifts and your blessings. Why is that important? Well, as we discussed in our Mindset Monday about happiness, gratitude and cultivating an attitude of gratitude is a precursor for happiness. Those who are unhappy are focused on everything that they don't have and everything that is negative in their eyes. So everything bad. So the curses, the maledictions, that's what they're focused on instead of the gifts and the blessings. So they go, oh, I don't have a job. I don't have a wife. I don't have a dog. I don't have a car. And they're focused on anything bad that they have. I do have a disease. I have lost my hair. I am too short. So they look at everything from a negative standpoint. They focus on all of the bad. And then what happens to your mental health? It plummets. By following this simple law, you are able to overcome depression, recognizing that you have to focus on the gifts and the blessings cultivates the feeling of happiness. Your gifts, oh, wow, I have some of my hair left. Oh, wow, I have a cat. Oh, wow, I have a son, a daughter. I have a house. Focusing on the blessings helps us to be able to cultivate the attitude of gratitude and to live in happiness. Our only concern is what we have. You're not to be concerned with what someone else has or what you don't have. So focus on your gifts and your blessings always. Rule number 6, Always see the universe for exactly what it is, based on evidence. Always see the universe for exactly what it is, based on evidence. This eliminates the should thinking. Many people live in shoulds. Well, I should have gotten an award. Well, I should have been compensated. Well, people shouldn't act like that. Well, it shouldn't be so hard. By now, I should already have gotten a car, gotten a house, gotten a wife, gotten a record deal. That's living in all the shoulds. What you're doing is you're creating in your mind a false universe that doesn't actually exist. And you're saying that it should be like that. And you're using that as a way to be sad because there's a mismatch between your mental universe of everything how it should be and the universe as it is, exactly as it is. When we see the universe exactly as it is, then we're not generalizing all women, all black people, all tall people, all white people. Instead, we are seeing the universe exactly as it is based on evidence. As the evidence stacks up, what is the truth of the universe? Well, for instance, that there is wickedness in this universe. Ah, we live in a world with wicked people. Yes. Ah, yeah. So those wicked people act like good people. Yes. Ah, yeah. See the universe exactly as it is, accept it for exactly what it is, and base all of your beliefs on evidence, not on feelings, on evidence, not on what it should be, on what it is, so that you're living in reality. Rule number 7, never be concerned with past blame. Be concerned with future responsibility. Again, never be concerned with past blame. Be concerned with future responsibility. This means that you don't want to worry about who's to blame for something that already happened. That's a waste of your time and energy. Instead, you want to worry about who is responsible moving forward. Okay. So picture yourself playing a sport and you're out on the field, and then the ball comes and the other team scores a goal, let's say. Now you can yell at your teammate, and the teammate can yell at you, "Hey man, what you should have did this, you should have did that," right? But that's not helpful because it's already in the past. So talking about what could have done and what should have, that's not helpful. The only thing we need to know is future responsibility. Here's a productive conversation. Okay, next time you take the front, I'll cover the back. You cover the right, I'll cover the left. Oh, that's my responsibility moving forward, the right, and yours is the left? Yes. Okay, good. Always operate in future responsibility. This is what do I have the power to do in the future? That's staying in your bag of personal power because power is related to responsibility. So when you focus on the responsibility, the actual responsibility, there is where your power lies. And when you focus on what you have the power to do, there is where your responsibility lies. So you must focus not on who's to blame. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame the other guy on your team. Don't blame your family members, your uncle, your aunt. Don't blame your parents. That's don't doesn't matter. Don't blame your husband. Don't blame your abuser. Don't blame anybody. That's irrelevant at this point. And definitely don't blame yourself for something you didn't do. What's relevant now is the responsibility in the future that you have. That's what you got to focus on. Okay, what do I need to do moving forward? That's where we focus. We'll talk more about it. Don't worry. Number 8, always focus on what you can do. That's number 8. Always focus on what you can do. Many trauma survivors live in victim mentality because they like to focus on everything they cannot do. everything they cannot control. And they say, oh, the system, it's so large, it's against me. Oh, I can't. I would reach out to her, but I can't. I would buy this, but I can't afford it. And if you keep doing that, guess how you're going to feel? Depressed. Many times our depression is linked to us focusing our mind on a powerlessness. In fact, all the time, our depression is linked to some type of powerless thinking because we're feeling powerless. We're having trouble accepting something in the universe the way it is, and we're feeling powerless to change it. That's what depression is. So when you focus instead on what you do have the ability to do, you become empowered. And now you can actually take action. And as you take action, you have something to be grateful for. And now you have blessings that you can focus on and gifts that you can focus on, right? So we focus on capability. We focus on what we can do. We build competency. We stand and rest on the shoulders of our own hard work rather than lying under the crushing weight of the infinite amount of things in the universe that you do not control. Rule number 9, everything you do must align with your purpose. Everything you do must align with your purpose. Hey, Roman, do you want to come to see the NASCAR race this Sunday? It's going to be huge. No, thank you. Why? Because I don't know how that's going to help me with my purpose. Make sure that everything you do aligns with your purpose. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself people pleasing and appeasing and achieving things that are worthless to you. And they won't lead you to mental health and happiness. They won't lead you to stability. They won't help you to be grounded and centered. And then you will wonder who you are. Then you will wonder who you are because you're too busy letting other people dictate what was important to you instead of staying focused, grounded, centered on your purpose. Make sure everything you do is aligned with your purpose. Does that mean I have to work all the time? No, because resting is aligned with your purpose. Because you're going to do your best when you're at your best. So you have to rest. So yes, do I want to relax and watch a movie tonight? Yes, that's aligned with my purpose because it's going to help me to deepen my relationship with the other person that I'm relaxing with. Or if I'm doing it by myself, it's going to allow me to decompress and to become inspired by the good movie that I've chosen and to relax so that I can feel refreshed and so that I can continue to work on my purpose tomorrow. Everything is aligned. If you can't find a way to align it, then don't do it. For you, going to the NASCAR race may be aligned with your purpose. It's just not aligned with mine. So make sure that whatever you do is aligned with your purpose. Rule number 10, never view or treat any human as worthless, especially yourself. If you're just joining us, we're doing the 12 laws of healing and happiness. Never view or treat any human as worthless, especially yourself. Focus on that word, worth less. It is inappropriate for us to treat ourselves as worth less. And that's what shame is. Shame is viewing yourself and treating yourself as if you are worth less. I'm not good enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not lovable enough. I'm not likable. It's shame. I'm down here. Other people are up there. I'm lower. I'm worth less than others. That is a violation of law number 10. You are never to view or treat any human as worth less. We are all of the highest value, and we must treat ourselves and others as being of the highest value because that's what we are. That's seeing the universe as it really is. Rule number 11. Always pause and meditate before speaking and acting. Always pause and meditate before speaking and acting. If I put this in different words, I might use the word delay. Always delay. Instead of meditate, I may use the word strategize. Why do we need to pause or delay? Always, where possible. Why do we need to delay and pause? Because your initial reaction is not your best. Your initial words are not going to be the most eloquent. They're not going to be thought out, and they might treat another human as worthless. So you want to make sure that you're balanced in your response to each thing, because you must look at the words you say as being written in ink. You can never take them back. They will forever be said. So be careful before you even say them. Measure twice, cut once. Always pause and meditate. Always delay and strategize. We must think before we speak. We must think. Don't feel like you need to just do whatever you're being told to do, stay on top of a rhythm of any situation. No. Take your time. Deliberate before you make a decision. We'll talk more about this and all of these laws at another time. But let me give you the 12th law. It is always think and do what is beneficial to the self and others. Always think and do what is beneficial to the self and others. So now, with that law, are you going to go do drugs tonight? Are you going to overdrink tonight? Are you going to go have sex with a stranger tonight? Are you going to buy too many things on Amazon tonight? Are you going to leave food on the counter tonight? These actions are not beneficial to the self or others. They're not beneficial. We need to take actions and think in ways that are beneficial to the self and others. If we're thinking with negative self-talk, I hate myself, I'm stupid, I'm ugly, that's not thinking in a way that's beneficial to you. So how do we think and act in a way that's beneficial? Oh, we think positive, beneficial thoughts. Well, it's beneficial for me to believe I'm great, to believe I'm capable. And so we're thinking that I'm great, I'm capable, I can, I will overcome, I am beautiful, I am worthy. That's thinking in a way that's beneficial. What's acting in a way that's beneficial? I'm going to go to bed at a reasonable time. I'm going to eat nutritious food. I'm going to exercise my body. I'm not going to go and do the drugs and do the alcohol. I'm going to act in a way that's beneficial for myself. And I'm not going to kill my ex because that's not beneficial for others. So hopefully with these laws, you have another way of coming at your healing, and you're able to see in a concise structure how you can be healed, stay healed, and be happy. It's not just about memorizing these laws, although if you did, it would be amazing. It's about becoming the 12 laws. It's about mastering the 12 laws. So when I post this PDF, print it out, get it laminated, sealed, published on some beautiful piece of paper, post it on your wall, on your mirror, make it your screensaver. You want to make sure you keep these laws before you and you test everything according to the laws. Because then when you go in and you look at each symptom of CPTSD, you will recognize that there's always a violation preceding that symptom. There's always a violation of one of the 12 laws. So I will put these on the website. They will be on the resources page at mindfreed.org, so you can go and print that out.